come at Hwasin's ramp quite late, and there is a possibility, although Hwasin didn't go for the barracks first, so I do think it's still possible that Bisu will be able to get up that ramp, because Hwasin's barracks isn't yet complete, so he's not going to be able to have his marines positioned at the ramp. So Bisu should know by now where Hwasin's base is. He's going to send his zealot around, and the fact that Hwasin has put that barracks up late is going to allow Bisu, and as expected, Hwasin starting up that factory, and now finally sending out his SCV possibly to scout. But Bisu's zealot is heading in the right direction. Hwasin's barracks is only just complete, so Bisu's zealot might be able to do a little bit of damage to Hwasin and might be able to hurt his SCVs, potentially kill a couple of SCVs with the combination of that zealot and probe. And we saw how effective that was between Reach and Justin, where Reach was able to inflict some damage with his initial zealot. Hwasin is going to have that factory up pretty early, though. He's building that factory with the SCV. The thing is that factory is quite near the ramp, so if Bisu can get up that ramp, excuse me, and the second zealot popping out for Bisu, now if Bisu can get up that ramp and take out that SCV before the factory is complete, that might cause Hwasin some problems. And Hwasin brings out the SCVs to try and block the zealot, and he has got a couple of marines up, and the zealot's going for those marines. He should be able to pick off a couple of these marines. Hwasin microing quite well. He's managed to get that factory up, so that's not going to be slowed down. His factory production is going to be slowed down. And Hwasin doing an excellent job of keeping his marines alive, and the probe gets killed off by the SCVs, and that was absolutely brilliant micro by Hwasin. You can tell Hwasin is trying really hard. You can tell that Hwasin has probably practiced a lot for this matchup. Bisu, though, has got 3 zealots now. He's got his second and third zealot ready, but I don't think he's going to be able to do any damage to Hwasin yet. And Bisu's actually got his dragoon out as well quite early, so Bisu might be able to pressure Hwasin early here, because Hwasin, in constructing that barracks, did not choose to block off his ramp with it. He's not blocked off his ramp, so if Bisu does push her ahead now, that might cause a little bit of problem for Hwasin. And Hwasin does have his SCV hiding up at the top, waiting to see if Bisu does set up that expo, which Bisu is about to do now. And Bisu, spotting that SCV, has actually chosen to build a pylon a little bit to the north now, maybe trying to possibly deny Bisu the fact that he's setting up that expo. Hwasin does have his vulture out, though, and he's going to attempt to try and slow Bisu down, give himself the time to build up his tank. We haven't had a look at Hwasin's base, so I'm not sure if he's gotten that siege tech up yet or not. And Hwasin does manage to sneak that SCV into Bisu's base. Bisu did spot that SCV with his probe, and Hwasin is going to manage to sneak that SCV all the way in, and he's scouting quite well. He's actually going to find out that Bisu's got his cybernetics core up, though he's not going to see whether or not Bisu is going for a robotics facility with a Templar archives, or whether Bisu is going for Reaver drop. Hwasin has got that machine shop up now, though. He's lifted off his barracks, and he's building a command center in his main. I'm not sure if Bisu has started up his expansion yet. I assume Bisu is probably starting up his expansion now that he's killed off Hwasin's SCV. And Hwasin just again trying to stop Bisu's probe from getting in there. That ramp is blocked off with a couple of marines and a tank. So Bisu actually didn't push Hwasin at all. I expected Bisu to try and push a little bit with his first dragoon and zealots, and Bisu now is coming down with 3 zealots and 3 dragoons to push on Hwasin. And Bisu has gone for that robotics facility and a couple of gateways. I haven't seen a Citadel of Adon yet, so it doesn't look like he's going to try and go for a quick Templar, which probably makes sense on a map like this. You would anticipate that players would go for more Reaver drops, as expected on this map. Hwasin, though, does have a couple of tanks and a few marines up that ramp, so he should be able to block, to defend successfully. And the fact that he's building his command center up his ramp inside his base is a very wise move by Hwasin. And Bisu now just coming in with the zealots. He's going to try and get up that ramp with those zealots. One of the marines gets taken down. Hwasin has moved his tanks back, but those zealots are going to get up that ramp. I'm not sure if Hwasin has got spider mines yet with his vulture. It certainly doesn't seem that way. And Bisu is now in Hwasin's, and Hwasin's going to find himself in a whole world of trouble against Bisu's forces, because he doesn't have a lot to defend. He does have a couple of tanks, and he's forced to bring on his SCVs. He needs to repair those tanks while he's fighting Bisu. It does look like one of the tanks is going to get taken down. Both the tanks have killed. So Hwasin managed to kill off both of Bisu's tanks with his dragoons, and the third tank is coming under fire, but Bisu is going to be able to hold off this. He's repairing that tank with numerous SCVs, and that dragoon is almost dead. So Hwasin did manage to hold it off, but significantly he has been slowed down a lot, and Bisu has drawn first blood here. Bisu has taken the advantage certainly versus Hwasin in that attack, because he has slowed Hwasin down. Hwasin was forced to pull off a lot of his SCVs to fight. Bisu with 2 gateways is pumping those dragoons at a tremendous speed now, and Hwasin finally manages to clear up his main, killing off that last dragoon. He does have 2 factories with 2 machine shops up, though. The second machine shop just going up now, and he's put his command center out finally. But Bisu did have his nexus up a little bit earlier, and Bisu is building a robotics facility, so Bisu definitely going for the Reaver drops. I'd yet to see an engineering bay for Hwasin, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get that engineering bay up in time. So Hwasin did not go for spider mines yet. Hwasin went for siege tech first rather than spider mines. We have seen versus Protoss, often players go for the spider mines first, and that might have been a good move. Had he had spider mines, he would have probably been able to prevent Bisu from getting in his main that early. And Hwasin already has his shuttle up, and he's loaded a probe up in that shuttle, so it looks like he's going to probably go and try and establish an expansion in one of the middle areas of the map to try and to try and have a protected expo. This is something that we have seen Bisu do before. He did that famously versus Nada in the Blue-White Invitational Tournament, in the Worldwide Blizzard Blizzard Worldwide Invitational Tournament, where he set it up on that. I think it was on Longinus that he did that, and that gave him a tremendous. Or was it Reverse Temple? I think it was Longinus and it gave him a tremendous. No, sorry, it was Reverse Temple. And it gave him a tremendous advantage versus Nada on that map. And Hwasin has now got his third gateway up. So Hwasin has dropped that probe off, and this is brilliant by Bisu. He's dropped that probe not near his base at the 9 o'clock position. He's actually dropped off that probe at the 3 o'clock expansion. He's going to build an expansion there, and that is going to give him a huge advantage because Hwasin is not likely to scout that expansion for a long time to come. And if Hwasin doesn't scout it and Bisu is able to build it and reap the advantages from it, Bisu is going to be in a comfortable position. And Bisu now has actually gone for Hwasin now has actually gone for Goliaths. Hwasin has gone for Goliaths rather than going for that engineering bay to counter Bisu's upcoming Reaver drop. So he's not gone for turrets, and he's actually building an academy to try and account for the fact that Bisu might be going for a Templar drop. So Hwasin opting not to go for the engineering bay, I do think that's a mistake. I do think turrets are a wise investment, but I guess Hwasin feels that he needs to have Goliaths earlier on, and Hwasin has got Goliaths pumping out those 2 factories, so Hwasin should be able to defend. I think this is the drop coming in for Bisu now. His Reaver's dropped in the main. He does have turrets up as well. He didn't have a turret, didn't swap that, and the Goliaths almost take out the shuttle. Bisu's shuttle barely escapes with its hide intact. Bisu is investing resources in that expansion, so this is going to be a key phase of the game here, whether or not Hwasin can build up a significant number of forces and macro push Bisu early on before he can reap the advantages that he's invested in that expansion at the 3 o'clock position. And the longer the game goes on, the longer you feel Bisu is going to be at an advantage. Bisu's got a second Reaver defending his main. Bisu's continuing to pump gateways though. I hope Bisu doesn't try and go for a fast carrier switch right now, because if he does, that will prove disastrous for him. Hwasin has got a significant number of forces up. He might almost be ready to go for his tank push yet. Unfortunately, Bisu is keeping him in his base. One of the great things about Reavers and shuttles is that they force the turn, they delay the turn push, they force the turn to reconsider when they push. And Bisu's got a significant number of Dragoons once again maneuvering towards Hwasin's base in the south of the map, and I think he's going to try and make sure that Hwasin isn't able to establish any other expansions around the map. Just try and keep Hwasin pinned back for as long as possible, keep him slowed down for as long as possible to prevent him from actually gaining an advantage. Hwasin, though, I think will be able to defend it. Bisu does try and push his main. Bisu does not have enough Zealots. He doesn't have a Citadel of Adoni up, so he definitely doesn't have speeded up Zealots. I haven't seen Hwasin, considering the fact that Hwasin has pumped those Goliaths up fairly early, started pumping those Goliaths up, I'm not sure how good of an idea that is. I mean, certainly Bisu has got the Reaver and the Reaver drop, and that's why Hwasin went for those early Goliaths. But I think he needs to get, and Hwasin with this guy is just going to be able to take out that probe of Bisu's in his main. And Bisu's coming around the south now with the shuttle again, the energy drop. It's got its shields back up. There are the Goliaths there positioned, and that shuttle is going to get taken down. Hwasin takes out Bisu's shuttle. Brilliant Goliath positioning. He completely anticipated that Bisu would try the other avenue and try and come in from the south towards his main, towards his natural expo, and he actually managed to take out that shuttle. That was absolutely brilliant play by Hwasin. And Bisu finally now pumping out the Zealots. Bisu's got 6 gateways up, so it certainly doesn't look like he's going for a carrier push. He has got that Citadel of Adon up, so we can probably anticipate a Templar Archive going up soon. I think it's a wise move. I think Protoss players are better off going for Dragoon, Zealots, and High Templar rather than going for Dragoon, Zealots, and trying to switch to carrier, especially on a map like this. And Hwasin, I was going to comment that Hwasin was making a lot of Goliaths, and I didn't see him pump out a lot of Vultures, but he has produced a lot of Vultures, and he's got them up now. He hasn't planted any Spider Mines yet, though, so he's probably researching that tech, and he's going to obviously need that before he can begin his push. But it looks like Hwasin is ready to start his turn push now, and it's going to be important to see whether or not Bisu is going to be able to flank and stop this push. Bisu has got that Citadel of Adon up, so he should have his Zealot speeded up, upgraded by the time Hwasin's push comes around. And Hwasin just trying to maneuver those Vultures around the side of Bisu's Dragoons, try and see what Bisu has made, and he's actually got his Spider Mines, and he's putting those Spider Mines up behind Bisu. Bisu's going to have to be very careful there when Bisu retreats from this push, because if he's not careful, he's going to end up losing a lot of Dragoons. And we saw, I believe, Ilab Uvi do that very effectively against Nal Ra, or was it Boxer? No, I think it was Ilab Uvi versus Nal Ra, and when the push came and player retreated, he lost a lot of units to those Spider Mines. Bisu, though, is smart, he is clever, he's got that Observer, but unfortunately the fact that he's going to be trying to take out those Spider Mines as he maneuvers backwards is going to slow him down a lot, and he's lost about 7 or 8 Dragoons in that push. That was catastrophic for Bisu. This might mean the end of the game for Bisu. He's only got about 3-4 Dragoons left. He does have a lot of Zealots though, but Hwasin definitely has a lot of Vultures and Goliaths, and Bisu might be in trouble here because he's lost those Dragoons. That move by Hwasin to plant those Spider Mines behind Bisu's force, and just looking at the first-person view mode of Hwasin here, he's setting up that turn push, and he's setting up the siege. I'm not sure if Bisu has enough to break it. Those Dragoons that Bisu lost might prove crucial, might prove the deciding factor in this game. The fact that Hwasin planted those Vultures behind Bisu's Dragoons, and Bisu is now going to find himself stuck behind his choke. He's going to find it hard to defend. He doesn't have carriers to rescue him should this push fail. Hwasin is not going to be too worried about the Templar. The key thing to do is Hwasin's push is going quite fast, and luckily for him, he can go this fast because he chose to build those Goliaths. Therefore, he does not have to worry about turrets to try and counter those shuttles. He has a couple of Goliaths with his force to try and counter Bisu's shuttles. And Hwasin has now set up that siege at Bisu's choke. Hwasin's going to attack siege up there, and Bisu's going to find it very difficult to break this siege. Bisu does have Dark Templar, but that's not going to matter to Hwasin because he does have scan. Bisu now going